I just shared it on Facebook.
Welcome, everybody, to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I am your host, Dustin,
I'm Aaron.
and today we are here to talk about a movie I have never seen until about a week ago called Edge of the Axe from the 80s. I think it was
80.
1988, I think is when it came out. And, oh man, corny. I,
Like everything about the it's corny, bro.
uh-oh, yeah. I really enjoyed it a lot. Even though it was really corny. The opening scene, I thought, I don't know if it was really out of place,
It's
but the way it happened with her, with the lady. So everybody knows we are going to be going into spoilers, and we're not really going to be holding a lot of stuff back. We'll try to go into detail with some of the behind the scenes stuff with the director and how the actors are, and if it was because it was mixed with like English and Spanish and a bunch of other stuff, and I think there was also some they had to dub some of the the talking. But we'll go into that later. Right now, we're pretty much going to stick straight to just how the story is. And I have a bunch of notes here, and my co-host Aaron, I think, also has some notes
Uh,
down. So we're gonna try to go through the movie, bit by bit. I have some key points here, and then a lot of other like random stuff. So we might not go into the whole thing, but we will see. But starting off, we get this opening of a car wash, which is so weird. And then it's just a lady, and she there's music playing that wasn't. I think also does the music repeat later on in the movie? Totally
I
forget
th-
if that's the same
I
song.
think so. They did have some weird like dubsteppy sounding like that like techno.
Yeah, it was like some like really like pre like dubstep like hip hop weird music that like I don't know how I feel about the music choices, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But starting off, we get it looks to be a nurse or something or somebody from a
Mhm.
hospital in a car who's going to a car wash. She's smoking a cigarette. We get like a little glimpse of a reason why I'm saying
The
hospital
Red
is because you
Cross.
see like the
Yeah,
cross, see a little cross, and she lights a cigarette when she's
in the
in the car wash and just ordinary whatever. And then we get some really weird shots of seeing of like the whole like car wash working, which it's really weird how they would have gotten that shot if they were in a real car wash
mm,
because I feel like all the equipment would be
right.
soaked
Some
because they were like really in on that, you
yeah.
know. And then the music continues to play in the background. She's not talking at all, and then we get some weird like you kind of get like a feeling that something's gonna happen because then we get a glimpse of somebody running behind the scenes who flips a switch to stops the track from her car, I think, to move, and then we just see her look up like ah, and
Classic
then
bump
just an
thing
axe goes
scream.
through. Yeah. And then the axe just shatters the window, and then you see blood, and then I think you see the cross again, and then it jumps to a dude on a motorcycle who has a bunch of equipment on the back, and goes to the okay where he goes. I have to address um the buildings look so futuristic. Did you
Very
realize
like
that?
metro like I don't know, yeah.
Like whatever the design like that they were going for was really weird in like the setting that this movie
Mhm.
is. But I think they were trying. The reason why I think they were probably going for like a futuristic look is because one of the main characters who we're gonna get into very very soon, who's his name is Gerald, is very into computers, and I think the reason why they were trying to get his house, or it's not even like his house, it's a dude named Brock, I
Hermit.
guess. Yeah, he's like a hermit or something, and when he shows up here, I guess he's from out of town, and I guess he's like living with this dude Brock, and he brings him a shirt, and he's mad at him he's Brock's mad at Gerald at first. It seems like
Like
because I guess he's using all the electricity or whatever, and um, so once he gives him the shirt, he's all happy, and he goes in there with I guess more computer gear or something. So that's why I think the houses looked a little futuristic. But Aaron, what did you think of the beginning of the movie leading up to that
I
point?
think that that first scene, that first kill was I think it really set the tone for the movie, honestly. Um,
I agree.
they're all very like that classic like slasher, just you get blood
Yep.
splatter and I love it to be honest.
And we get like a really quick glimpse as to what the killer looks like, but the white mask at first I was not a
Yeah,
fan, and
big
like
Rome though.
the I guess yeah, and then I think it's a trench coat or like
It
a
changes after
raincoat.
each
It's
victim, I
so
think.
yeah, and then so leading up to the whole Brock encounter and going into Gerald going in there and I guess setting up his new computer. Um, we jump from that to a really quick like jump to a lady in a house and there's like squealing
Oh
pigs and stuff and it's really funny because she hears something and then she goes out, right? Nothing is wrong, all the pigs are fine and she seems fine, but as soon as she gets back to the house, she's like freaking out over absolutely
yeah, I
nothing.
noticed I
Did you
slammed the
realize that?
door, locked it all like as if something.
Yeah, it's like she saw something, but us as a viewer, we didn't see
Yeah.
anything. Like we heard the pigs squealing and everything, and then after that, see somebody go and take a pig or something like that. Was that
Uh,
before? Well, regardless,
I think it was.
she
But yeah.
was was it all
Yeah.
right, and then after um she hears another noise, but it's in the house, and then she goes into the room where this is a pig head
Like,
on the bed. Which is this before or after The Godfather? Do I don't know what year The Godfather came out.
I don't remember
I can look that up
the
real quick
Godfather.
because I wonder if they were doing that like as a reference to Godfather or something like that. But you know, it's a really really quick
Hmm.
shot. 1972. So that was like way before this
Yeah.
movie. So we get that, and then I think after we meet this new character, I guess. Like this movie, if you guys haven't seen it, it jumps from character to character to
You meet someone
character.
and you just won't see
So
them again.
yeah, so forgive us if we don't know the character's name because we only like some of these people only see like once in a movie and they try to make him seem like it's the most important person ever, and that kind of aligns with this dude Trevor, who we see who goes over to the police and tells them about the pig head and like he's making like a big thing in the
Sorry.
police.
No, I was
What's that?
saying he was telling when he was talking to the police, he was saying that there's a pig head in his bed, so maybe it was like, her husband or something like that. But
Yeah, yeah, and like the police were just like, I don't even care. Like, go find someone else who gives a shit. I think is what the captain says. I don't even remember his name. That's like how
that was a big red flag
like
immediately for me. I thought, honestly, that he was going
yeah
to have something to do with the whole whole
mm,
murder thing.
yeah, and then after that what happens after that? Do we get to where Gerald meets his friend
Yes,
Richard? I think that's what happens next.
I believe he check
And
out
then
the
they
bar.
yeah, and then we get some more of that weird, awkward like
Like,
music,
no,
and then they start singing about the girl at the
yep,
bar, which is pretty funny. I guess that was kind of foreshadowing in a way, because who they were singing about once they go to the bar, which we'll get into, is so Gerald's friend Richard, which we don't really get a big connection as to how they're friends or anything like that. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong on
this
that, but I don't think we get any backstory or anything with them other than he's like a bug killer.
exterminator. He's a
Yeah, exterminator. And he brings him along because Gerald, I guess, has a good nose. And so they go to this bar, and I guess the bar owner's like, "Oh, you're actually showing up," and Richard's like, "Yeah, well, it's kind of my job." So they go there, and then Richard has like the corniest like quote. He comes in, and he's like, "Hey, I know what your problem is. It smells like shit." It's just like,
that
what?
one.
I was just like, "Oh, okay, like I understand." And then they go into this room, and they're like, "Oh, it's probably just a bunch of rats and
More than
stuff
a
like
few
this."
rats.
Yeah, and it's more than a few rats because he like pushes over this thing on the floor, and you see a couple of rats. And then I guess Gerald goes and looks, and like he just goes under like a random beam, and it's just like, here it is. It smells. So
Nuts.
I think Richard goes over there and he knocks it down, and then there's like a
Yeah.
dead body that swings down, and it's the girl that they were singing about, which I don't even remember her name, even though they were singing about it, which you would think when I'm singing about her name we would understand or like get to have her name implanted in our brain, but we don't. Um, so we get that, and then the police show up again, and then they just don't really give a shit. They tell the doctor to not even worry about telling anybody in the town, which I thought. Tell me if you caught onto this too. They told the doctor to just respect her wishes for being
Yeah.
alone or something, but they don't even like address any parents
Yeah.
or anything
Caught
like
on
that.
around my second watch through, but
I was very like, okay, so they literally want him to just take her body and bury her and not even do
not
any
gonna
autopsies or
contact
anything,
anyone.
which is
Or
which is so weird, man. And then we jump to Richard and Gerald again, and I think you hear very briefly before we cut to that, we hear Richard say, "I have to go pick up my wife's car," but we don't see them say it. I thought it was the police saying that, so I got really confused on that
Mhm.
part. And then we jump to them being in a different car, and then they go to like this boathouse. I think like a family
Yeah,
boathouse.
or like a store or something.
Yeah, it's something like that. We don't really get like a lot of background on it, but I guess like his Richard's wife is old because he's saying how much he hates her and all this other stuff.
Mhm.
But and then they um say that Richard like flirts with other girls, so we already know like he doesn't really care about being with his wife. He's only with her for the money because I guess she's rich. And so there's another girl of person that Richard's wife was meeting, Nebs. I don't remember his first name, but I guess is it his daughter?
Yeah, I believe so.
Something like that. And then we get that I think her name is no, it's not Lillian. Lillian's the other girl. This girl's name is I think I have it written down somewhere. What is her name? One second. I want to see if I can find it. I know I have it in my notes somewhere. Um, crap. I don't know. We'll probably get to it later.
Yeah.
But so Gerald gets out of the car because Richard tells him to go away because I guess he wants to flirt with this girl or whatever because he thinks she's cute. And then Gerald says something about Richard's leg or something about it being fake, which was really weird. It's like I don't really understand that. And then we jump to going into the building where Gerald meets another new character named Lillian. Because I guess he's playing a game. Was I think it was like I forget what the hell
For
game it
Galaga.
was. Yeah, I think it was Galaga. That's what it was. And she's like, "Oh, no one can ever beat me on this." And then Gerald's like, "Oh, I can. I'll beat you right now." And then he goes on and talks about the computer and stuff like that. And then we get some weird like she's talking about a monster or saying that he's a monster and he's cute for being a monster or some kind of weird like monster flirting talk. I don't really know where that's
Var
going.
XT.
And then yeah. And then I think we go to them being back at Gerald's place, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm missing anything. And then um he asks if he wants Lillian to have a Coke or if she wants a Coke and it's so weird. She's
Is it a
like,
cold?
"Is it really called Coke?" Like, what? What do you, I don't understand. Like, for how late in the '80s this is, I think Coke's been around for a long time. Unless she was thinking
Didn't she
about
say?
like,
Isn't it? Is it a cold Coke?
yeah, something.
I
Is
think
it?
she just cold.
Did she say
Yeah.
cold? She said cold. Oh my god! So I had this wrong in my notes. I thought she said, "Is it called Coke?" All right, so then
That's why I watched everything with
never mind.
subtitles
That's
on.
Oh my god, I probably should have done that. I really should have. And then what happens after that?
She's looking at his playing with his computer. He goes, "This is Icarus. You can ask him anything." And um,
Hmm.
she she's asking questions about his computer. She walks over. She sees his older computer, and she goes, "I like this one better. It looks a lot easier to use."
Yep.
And this
Mm.
motherfucker, excuse my language, you can have it.
It's okay.
He's like, I can install this in your house. And she's like, I not what I meant. But he's like, oh, you can have my computer.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's like, okay, so this is just an excuse for them to get
yeah,
closer.
he's
And
hitting
then
on her, anything.
go ahead. No, I know, right? Like there's some really weird like no, I wouldn't really call it tension. It's just the flirting in this movie I don't think goes over that
Yeah,
well. But I
but again, it's a
from like
different
what we kind of know. Yeah. And what we kind of know from like the director too, because this is like his first horror movie, so I can kind of understand that he doesn't really know probably how to work that in this type of genre, but that's completely fine.
Mhm.
And then after that we jump to oh wait, there's another thing I want to point out. It's like she asks the computer if
Uh,
Gerald's gay. Like there's a like I understand the time where this is too, because it was like this is part of like the whole thing towards this time and right before the 90s was like the whole like AIDS and gay like big movement and
yeah,
everything, because we saw that a lot with Nightmare on Elm Street. That was like another one that really Nightmare on Elm Street 2, just to be exact, is when things were getting really tense with like the gay community and
yeah,
everything. So I can understand why they wanted to, why he put something in there, but it was totally like it was not necessary at all.
yeah.
Um, and then we jump to a bar scene with a bunch of people we have no idea who they are. So this is literally, this movie is like expect to like kind of get close to these characters that we've seen a couple of times already to be thrown into another scene of people we have no idea who they are, but we're supposed to act like we know who they are. So it's this girl
Rita, yep.
Rita who's talking to this other guy, and then I guess she gets, well, she's at a table with a bunch of other dudes, and she gets a call, and I guess it's someone who she's supposed to go meet up with, and she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'll meet you right there." And then we jump to where she's going, and she's like in like
And
a
some train
weird
tracks, yeah.
train. It's like, okay, this isn't sketchy at
Right,
all. Like I
just
understand
chilling
maybe,
there.
yeah, and then like there's a, yeah, the homeless guy is there, and then she keeps going further into the train yard, and it's just getting even more
You
sketchy.
got
And
the
she's
eerie.
like, "Oh, there you are." And then I think she pulls out a cigarette or something and asks for like a
Oh,
light.
she flew, I bought my
And then
cigarettes at the bar. You got
yeah, yeah, she
one?
forgot the cigarettes. And then we see from the side the character who she's talking to like drops the mask. So we're like, oh, okay. So I mean, I kind of already knew from going to a sketchy train
Yeah, you gotta
yard
run
that
the serial killer.
yeah, exactly. And then I paused it because right before you can kind of see the character, because the person's not wearing the
Hmm.
mask. So I tried pausing and seeing if I could like zoom in or something to see the
Yeah,
face, and I couldn't really make it out. I mean, it's obviously like a stunt double or just somebody else the
yeah.
on like the studio floor or whatever, just putting on like that stuff. And then one thing I do have to say about this movie though, it's got a little bit of balls, because it really shows the axe hits,
Yeah.
and I don't really think of many other slashers besides maybe Friday the 13th, and I guess to an extent um Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, but they don't do it that much. They do it just a little bit. But in this one, every time the killer is killing somebody, we see every single
Oh yeah.
hit. And I was like, wow, I actually really wasn't expecting that. I was like, wow, this is pretty ballsy for this time, for really going in and seeing that. But we don't really see a lot of gore and stuff like that, because it's not really chopping off like limbs and stuff. It's just kind of this piercing the skin and they're bleeding.
Yeah.
Um, Um.
But yeah, so Rita gets chopped up.
So yeah,
Uh,
and
and
then
then
what?
it goes into
I
the
think we.
investigation, I believe.
Yeah. So the police come and so they're talking. It's like kind of like the same talk we got before. Of like, oh, just keep this hush 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 hush. And then the deputy, I think, because we only see like two police officers like throughout the whole
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
Besides, I think the
so I do
very
remember
end.
them mentioning that there's only 2 police officers in the town. I forget it,
Yeah,
but
which is
yeah. So
I guess it's because they are like a small like
small
town or
mountain
whatever it is, but
town,
still
yeah.
only two police
My
officers. And it's so funny because the deputy comes over with a bag, right, with the Rita's purse, and then
it's Justice Prince
the chief is like, go dust that for Prince, and it's like he's holding the
there.
bag bare hands.
I saw
It's like,
that. I noticed
okay.
that.
Like I had to rewind that 2 or 3 times to make sure I was hearing that
Search
right. I was like, "Really? You gonna tell him to
and
go
take it
dust
to
for
evidence.
Prince?" I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like you really don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing."
Just dirt
And then,
there.
yeah, uh,
What-
then I think we get a jump cut to Gerald going back to Lillian's place, which is the
Yep.
boathouse, and then the caretaker is his name Jimmy.
Jimmy, I think, or
I think it's
yeah,
Jimmy
someone of those.
who helps Gerald bring, I guess, the computer equipment
Yep. He
upstairs.
shows stuff
And
out.
then we get some yeah, and then we get some weird talking about the house where he's like, "Oh, how many rooms are in this place or how big is this place?" And then he's talking about like, "Oh, there's a lot of rooms. There's like 29
Yeah.
rooms." So I was like, "Oh, are they going to do something later on where they're going to be like going through a bunch of rooms? Like that'd be really cool if they kind of like play on that a little
Hmm.
bit." But no.
No,
They don't
for
do
the rest of
anything
the
like that.
movie.
Nope, it's just like what would have been a really cool idea. They just completely shut that down. At the end of the movie, which we'll get to, you don't get any of that. You don't even get any of it during the movie at all. You only see maybe 2 rooms out of the whole place. So I was like, oh, maybe this is gonna be foreshadowing for something.
Yeah.
Now they don't do
They
anything like
fill in
that.
context.
Yeah, and then we jump to that lady again from the beginning of the place who
The
heard
pig
the
farm
pigs.
lady.
Yeah, and then she grabs a candle
It's
for
a
really
rainy night.
no.
So her lights
Yeah,
flickering.
was that happening before she grabbed the candle or after? Because I thought she was grabbing the candle just because. I
She
thought
might,
she was gonna go outside with it.
she might have. But yeah, she
And
grabs the candle. She didn't even light it either. But yeah. Um,
no, she goes like she hears something outside, or like her windows like fly open, and she closes them, and then I think she goes to try to light it, and then her matches were dead, so she throws them in the
all right,
sink.
that's right.
And then she goes through her, I don't know, living room, I guess we'll just say. And then she goes into her room where I think we saw the pig's head
Yep.
before. And then she lights it. I think she finds some more matches, and then she goes back, and then she sees this axe on the table. Like her face is like, that's weird. And then continues walking, and then I think we see the killer for like the third time, I think. But this time was like more. You can see the killer more because he's got a little bit more screen time. Grabs the axe, and then she runs out. This part made me die laughing. So she runs out, and then she goes to the pig pen, goes in, looks outside for I'm not even kidding, 5 seconds, and she's like, "Oh, I don't see anything." Opens up the door and starts running, and then gets killed.
That was one of my favorite kills though in the scene actually when he hides in the pig pen when he's laying on the ground and he gets her ankle with the axe and then he hits her in the head. I
Yeah,
love that kill.
it was pretty cool, but I was just like, dude, how stupid is this person that you look outside for 1 second?
I'm good.
Like it was like had it been 5 seconds, like, oh, I don't hear anything. I'm not even gonna wait just to see if I do hear
I
anything. And she's like, oh, I'm just gonna run, and then chops at the ankle, and then he just goes ham on her, and like once again you
gets
see all the
he gets
axe
her in the
hits.
face too.
Yeah, so it's some pretty brutal hits on this movie. Like they really have some balls. Um,
And then
I have some really weird notes written in here, but go ahead.
no, it's good. Sorry, I don't even know what I was gonna say. To be honest, I'm just trying to remember
It's
where
okay.
we're at in the movie. After that,
Uh,
uh,
I think it's Lillian and Gerald talking on the
that's
computer,
right.
which is really weird because the computer
Yeah,
talks every
I was
time
wondering about that.
you type something. It talks, but there's no speakers, and I don't think at that time computers had speakers. I don't know. I'm only 28, guys, so like obviously I wasn't born in the 80s. So I don't know if computers had speakers back then, but I don't ever remember them seeing them set up speakers or seeing anything that would give them like
Yeah,
audio, unless they were only doing that so people could hear what was going
that can
on.
too.
I don't know.
It was
Um,
such a basic like terminal, like too, like you know what I mean.
yeah, it was super weird. And then what I have is it a list of dead women that Gerald sends her?
Yeah, it was still like
Or does she find that? I totally
she found.
forget. No, she found it because he wasn't talking to her at the time, right? So she was trying to get information or trying to get him to talk, so she somehow was able to get his information off his computer because I think they're linked to the
Same
same
like s- interface or something like yeah,
yeah, like server
something
or
like
I forget what he called
that.
it.
Yeah, it was like a single server.
So we get
That's
that.
what it was, something like that. But yeah,
Yeah. And then we jump to
I think they were at her place, right, or at the bar or something.
something. I have it so they're talking. So they definitely
Well,
got back together and started talking in person. And now the movie kind of shifts, and I feel like they try to make Gerald seem really kind of out of place and not acting the way he was before, because we got like the list of all the women that were killed recently.
mhm,
So they're trying to kind of paint it like, oh, it's Gerald who's doing all the killing, which is what I kind of was uh realizing, especially second time watching, because I watched the movie twice just to kind of make sure I was getting everything right.
mhm,
And oh no, they're at the a diner. They're at a
that's right.
diner. That's what it is. And then she gives him like a
Oh
pin.
yeah, the
I
place that she works at, her father's place.
Yeah, and then we get another new character, guys. So this is like what? New character
Yeah,
20?
okay. Anderson,
Who's the father, which I don't even remember his name. I just called him
yeah, the
father.
priest.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, you're going to be at the church later?" And then she's like, "Yeah, I'll be there, blah 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 blah."
She didn't show up.
No, we get the whole like intro to this church, which I thought, oh, is this going to be like a really big part of the story? Now that they're kind of introducing, I think this is about halfway through the movie, about like 45 minutes in, I think.
Mm,
And this movie's on like an hour and a half long.
yeah,
So we get them singing, and then the priest playing piano, and then someone conducting, and then he sees Lillian walk in like super late, and then starts singing. And then that kind of, I think, falls off, right? I don't think we get any kind of other
they
context other
just
than
kind
her
of shared a
singing.
weird look, the composer and the priest. As if
Oh
they're
yeah,
like
that's right.
suspicious, you know what I mean?
Yeah, really. Another thing this movie starts doing is weird close-ups. I realize like they really zoom in on people's faces, and they kind of do it like 2 or 3 times. Darren, I was like, he was like trying, the director or whoever was trying something new at this point. Like, oh, we gotta spice up this film. We're gonna
Just
start doing
those
really
faces.
close-ups. So then we jump to Richard being on the boat with Susan. So this is her name. So now the lady we're talking about earlier who I couldn't figure out her name, Susan.
uh, right.
They're on. on the boat, and he's having an affair, essentially having an affair on his wife. And we don't really get too much talk about them as of now. We just kind of see them go off
And
into a
out
place.
and yeah,
Yeah, and then I think we jump back to the church after they talk about. Honestly, I don't even remember what they talk about because there's the dialogue in this isn't the greatest in this movie, but it's also not really that
yeah,
memorable. I should have probably put down some quotes. But then we jump back to the church where it's like all like the church ladies and stuff saying like, "Oh, I'm kind of afraid to go
yep,
home," and all this other stuff because of all the killings. And I think it was the lady who was conducting the choir
yep.
earlier kind of jumped to her
Oh
house.
yeah, comes in,
So
calls her dog
yeah, she calls her dog. I don't even remember the dog's
Ricky.
name. Ricky. Okay, you remember the
Yep,
dog's
yes
name.
I do.
um, so Ricky. So it's just like we're trying to make a dog a big character now. Is what we're pretty much saying. Like, oh, okay, Ricky, where are you? When we get like even a picture of the dog, and she's walking around, and then we start hearing this really loud drip, and dude,
I didn't like this.
this is the loudest drip in cinema history, man. She's like on the other side of her house, which is it seemed like it's a pretty big
Yeah.
house, and it's the loudest drip. It's blood like dripping from the ceiling into like a bowl, and it's so loud. I'm like, I don't even know
What
how.
bothered me too, if that happened relatively recently, how there's no way that much blood would have, dripped through the ceiling and all the frame and into that hole
Yeah.
and into that steady, like flow of drips. Uh,
Yeah, like it literally seeped through all the wood and carpet, because I think it was carpet, into a bowl. And then we find out where the blood's coming from, and it's from her dog, Ricky. I'm like, first of all, I don't think dogs have that much blood, because it was a really small dog. I
yeah,
don't remember what kind of dog it was,
thanks
but I know it was a
later.
smaller dog.
Yeah,
And then we get her going to a closet for no reason to grab a shotgun. Well, I mean, she kind of has a
well, she started
reason
calling
to
the
get
police. Her
something.
lines were cut, so she
Oh, that's right. That's right.
realizes it's empty.
Yeah, and then she
Oh, this is good too.
she reaches in,
Reaches
and
family.
then the uh the killer's there and just chops off her fingers, which I thought was really cool. That was a cool special
Yeah.
effects. And then once again, we see all the axe hits, and she's dead. Um, and what do I think we jump to. I don't think we get any police interaction this time,
Uh,
right? Or is that later on?
later on, I believe.
So yeah, because I think the cop goes to the priest to tell
Yeah,
him
because
or whatever,
and
and
then she oh wait, no, that's actually I'm thinking of a different scene. I was thinking of when he was talking to the carpenter in the church.
oh, we totally skipped that
Yeah.
whole thing. I had that written down here too. So backtracking a little bit after we get
Rita.
Rita's, yeah, after we get Rita's kill, for some reason the cop knew the carpenter was at
Sleeping with him
the.
with her. She didn't
Yeah,
face
because I guess she had a
her.
name in her book, which. Oh, you
Yep.
okay? Oh my god. So
Technical difficulties.
um, yeah, that's completely fine. Just a poster fill, guys, just for all of our audio listeners. Um, so he's like, "Oh, so you killed Rita because she has your name in her book," and then we find out later that pretty much every dude's name that
In
in this little town is in her book. So it's like that's kind of like a not really a good lead.
not
Um,
particularly.
so, so
Every,
going back to after we get that lady's death, we get some more computer talk, and then Leslie's telling Gerald like, "Oh, I'm scared" and all this stuff, and then they're typing, and then she's like, "Oh, come meet me," and it says, "Come meet me at," and then it's like a long pause, like it doesn't even disclose the
Yep.
location, and then it jumps to them being at the boathouse, I
Yep.
believe,
They're sitting by
or
the
something.
swings, I believe, right? Or is that later?
Maybe it was the swings, yeah, because this is when we start getting some more backstory, which I don't know how I feel about getting information like this at the kind of the tail end of a movie, because I feel like if they did this earlier on, it would have probably caused a little bit more tension and
Mm-hmm.
suspense. But Lillian goes on to tell Gerald about her cousin
All
Charlie.
right.
I think it was cousin
Yep.
Charlie. And then she's like, "Oh, there was one day where he was like upsetting me or something, and they were really young and they were on the
She kept
swings,
pushing them.
and she was pushing him, and he goes flying off and gets a concussion, and then ends up in like a mental institution or something."
Yep.
And then it was like 6 years ago or something like that, and she's like, "I think he's behind all these killings," which we don't really get any context as to why he would be out there killing women if he's locked up in a hospital.
Yeah.
So this is where things kind of start falling apart a little bit for me. This is why I feel like if it was earlier on and there was a little bit more ties
It
to
would
it, I
explain
think
it
it
more.
would have worked out a
Yeah.
lot more. Um, and then I think this is when we start going to the next part of when the chief goes to see the father, and he's talking to the father, and to me, I feel like they kind of shift how the father's acting, because he seems a little dead inside.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Like what he was saying? He was like, "Oh, she's dead.
Oh
Oh,
man.
no way. That can't be." You know, it's very weird.
Yeah.
And then um, wait, no. So now we get to the swing scene. I think, because I think before they were talking at a different place because it was at night, and now I have it written down here that there was like the swinging, like there was some like overdubbed
Yeah.
grunting. So we get a little bit more like Gerald like upsets um Lillian for some reason. I don't remember why.
I think she was mad because he wasn't talking to her on the computer. He wasn't there.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. So she starts pushing him, and then we get like a weird little flashback or something of her being young with Charlie on the swing, and then we get some really weird like overdubbed grunting of her like pushing the swing,
Yep. And
and then something happens in between.
uh
I think
back to
we
Gerald and Lillian, I believe, and then he makes a joke saying, "Oh, I can just picture your cousin flying off the swing," and just look on her
yeah,
face like, "Really?" He ended up in a mental institution.
yeah, I know, right? And then I think there was some point in between all of this. We go back to Susan and Richard, which I didn't write any notes down because it wasn't really that important. They just find a girl's head
Yeah, I
like at the
guess jammed in.
motor because they're trying to start it. But I don't think that really leads to anything. But I think after the whole swing incident, we get Richard's wife with the the choir director or whatever, the new pianist for the
Yep.
church. There, because before she goes to see, I guess it's her bank manager or something, says that she's like bankrupt,
Oh, yeah.
and then she goes out drinking. Then we get her being killed uh because she runs almost into a tree or something that's broken down, and then like the dude dies from her stopping too
Yeah, I was
hard.
sure who
Or
that guy was, to be honest. I don't remember meeting him.
we saw him once because I think when the priest was talking to the policeman, he was like,
Oh,
"Who's
yeah,
this
that's right. He
person?"
showed up at the choir.
So once again, it's like another quick introduction of somebody we don't really know or care about. Um. Uh. So after that, she stops. She gets a bump on her head. She gets out of her car and tries to
Pressing against a
run or
tree
something.
for a second to kind of nice and clear her head. The turn signal's turned on.
Yeah.
Um,
And then
she goes,
yeah, and then we see the killer in the car,
"Yep."
and then we get like a little bit of a chase scene, which really wasn't
Wasn't much. So it was a classic. Oh, I tripped. I can't move. Then she,
yeah, which we still do to this day.
yeah,
Um, so we get that, and then we jump to I think Gerald cutting wood.
yep,
So this is like another link to of like, oh, I guess Gerald's the killer because Richard I guess shows up there and like says, oh, I don't know where my wife is
yeah.
because I went back and her suitcase was
Seats
packed
were
or
emptied and all that.
yeah, like got no money. And then Gerald tells him like, "Oh, I'm going to see Lillian," and I guess he's like, "Oh, well, you spend too much time with her. You guys too much on the computer. I guess you're gonna start turning into a microchip or something
Microchip.
stupid." And then, and then after he seems a little upset saying that, but then after he's like, "Oh, well, have fun, safe sex." And so it's like, what? Okay. And then I wrote down here because it seems like everybody now has an axe. Gerald has an axe, and then we get to this is like the ending of the movie, the big reveal, I guess is what we get. Um, where Lillian, I don't even know why she starts like going downstairs. I think she might hear like one
Vein
noise or
or
something.
something. Shared something. But
Yeah, we don't get like too much context as to why she's like going down into this part of the house to lock a door, but she grabs an axe. And it's like, oh, okay, so she has an axe now, and Gerald had an axe, so what's going on here? So she goes to like the bar area and locks the door before we're supposed to suspect the
mhm.
killer. But she goes up to her room with the axe. But once you see see the hands and what this person's wearing, you can clearly tell this is not the killer because they're not wearing the same getup as the actual killer. It's got black gloves and like a tight blue jacket, which I think we saw Gerald wear earlier in the film. So we're like, okay, I guess it's Gerald. So he tries to open up the door and can't get in there, and then he finds like the side window, and
Time's on in.
yeah, and then we get some. I guess they're trying to build up here, which doesn't really work that
Yeah, you get
well.
the
I
creak
don't
of
really
the
get like any
stairs,
tense.
but like you get that one little creak that she hears.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's funny because he's trying to go up the stairs like so quietly, and then he hits his boot going up on one of the steps. It's like, oh, okay, so whatever. And then she walks out, and Gerald's there and confronts her, and it's like, I know who you are. I know your history. You're Charlie. And then she's like, what are you talking about? I know I'm not. And he's like, I'm the only one who knows about your mental history here in this town or
Yep.
whatever. And then we get to kind of big reveal. Well, we don't even get
Even
like a
yet. Um,
like, and she doesn't even start acting weird. She's still like her same
yeah,
self. So it's like I was expecting some like real big like personality switch, but nothing happens other than her make a weird face and grab an
yeah.
axe. Um, but he does some like real overacting. Like there's like way too much overacting. He's like turning his head so much, and he's like sweating so much, or it's
I
probably because he's
noticed
wet
that.
because I think it was
Yeah.
raining. And it's like, no, Lillian, I know who you are. And it's like turning your head and like, and then they start fighting with the axe and run downstairs, and then we get a little bit of a chase scene where they're kind of fighting back and forth, and he grabs the axe and she starts running away. But I think before this, I forgot to say is that the police say after they find Richard's
I
dead wife,
stopped
they're like,
this
"Oh, we should
place.
probably go and stop by that place just to make sure like everything is okay because it was like along the way or
Yep.
whatever." Because I think the priest showed up there or something. There was like nothing really important to touch up there, but we hear the sirens coming, and then Lillian's running out the door, and we see Gerald running with the axe. I mean, obviously, at
Just
this
like
point, you see the police there. It's like, okay, well, this is obvious. They're like, okay, well, Gerald's the killer, shotgun, and then they're like, oh no, stop, stop, stop. So we get kind of a twist ending. I don't think the payoff was that great,
mm,
personally. I don't know
they
how you
built
felt
it up a
about
little
it.
more, a little better.
Yeah, they definitely could have. Sort of like, oh, okay, well, it's okay, Lillian, you're safe
There's gonna be no
now.
more
And
this
then we
town.
get, yeah, and then we kind of get like I guess they're trying to go for like a shock thing,
Shock
like,
value.
yeah, almost like a sleepaway camp thing at the end with the face like, ah, and they kind of hold on that for a while, but I don't think it was really that impactful.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much summing up um Edge of the
Okay.
Axe.
That's
So
much.
we both saw this on Shudder, and if you guys aren't subscribed to Shudder, you guys need to be. They are a horror streaming service for I think it's $5.99 a month or like less than $60 a year. They have originals on there. They try to get a lot of horror movies and not even just horror, like
Good.
thriller and chillers and stuff like that from like all over the world. It's not just like English movies. It's like everything from everywhere. And they recently got their hands on a movie that is actually a pretty big deal, which I think we might have to do. Well, actually, I don't even know if I want to do a podcast on this because of how controversial
Oh, it
this
was
film is, and there's a lot to do. It's The
the
Devils,
Devils.
and so it's a movie. I won't really jump too much into it, but it's like a movie that's been banned over and over and over again because of how controversial it is with like faith and all this other stuff. It's really good, so I highly recommend you guys getting
It's the
Shudder.
Netflix
I
lovers.
can't, yeah, I can't speak highly enough of like what they do and their community. And I mean, Joe Bob Briggs is on there. If you guys don't know who Joe Bob Briggs, he did Monster Vision back in the '90s on like I think it was what Spike TV or whatever it was called back then. And he's on
That's
there. He
the
has his new season coming out. I think next month. I think he's got a season coming out next month of Joe Bob's Lost Driving, which is amazing. I love that show so much, and what's really cool is that his co-host, uh, Darcy the Mail Girl, has been trying to get all of the old Monster Vision uh, tapes and stuff from like way back when, and they're trying to convert it to make a giant collection of all the old Joe Bob Briggs Monster Vision stuff, which would be so awesome. That's something that everybody should own.
been doing that show
Um,
forever now, huh?
um yeah, yeah. And then another two companies I want to talk about that I have been supporting a lot and I love to death is one whose Cavity Colors, which I'm actually wearing
Right.
one of their shirts right now. Um, that I think that one's Cavity Colors, or was that Fright
It
Rags?
came in the green package, so I think it's cavity cut.
Oh, so that was Cavity Colors. So I kind of get them confused sometimes because they both do like the exact same thing. But Aaron and I are both wearing Cavity Colors sweatshirts because they're super comfy and they have amazing
Very one.
shirts. Um, they do prints of pretty much any horror movie. They're releasing things almost every Wednesday, if not every Wednesday. It's like every other Wednesday. The upcoming one, which I'm very excited for, is Godzilla versus King Kong, which is next Wednesday, I believe, is when they are releasing the new line. And then Fright Rags, which is also really cool. They just came up with a new, I think reprinted Leprechaun stuff, which I bought, which I think is being sent in
I
the
haven't seen
mail.
those movies in forever.
I know I almost wanted to review that, but it was already past St.
Yeah.
Patty's Day. But I mean, we can do that whenever. Um, but for anybody who wants to kind of be part of the conversation and watch what we're watching, are pretty much going to be focusing mainly on Shutter films right now because we both have that and we both know what's reliable and we can pick whatever you want from there and just watch it together or whatever, and then we can talk about it. So we'll be doing that. I don't know what movie we'll do next. Maybe we'll pick that here, so that way,
You can put up a poll.
anybody listening, they want to join in on that conversation. So let me go on Shutter right now and see what we can do. But what's your final thoughts on Edge of the Axe?
Overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's your typical '80s slasher film. Um, I did enjoy the sleepaway esque twist at the end. Um,
Yep.
but like I said, I agree with you. I think they could have built up the ending a little bit more. But other than that, I enjoyed it. I give it a
Yep.
7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Oh
I'm being
wow.
generous.
Let's see. So as we kind of figured, this is the director's first horror movie, which I forget his name. It's like Jose.
I
Let me look it up
actually,
real
it's
quick.
Jose Ramon Larraz.
Okay, well you can definitely say that a little bit better than me. So this is pretty much like his first horror movie, and there was a mix between English and Spanish actors on set. So I think the only semi-famous actor who came out of this was Paige Mosley, because he was in some other stuff. I was looking it up
Hmm.
earlier. I didn't add any of it to my list, but I can go
Let's see.
and look it up right now and see what movies he was in, because I think there was a couple of them that were kind of big. So he was in What's Love Got to Do with It and Girls Night Out, which I think were two pretty big movies at the time, and The Jigsaw Murders, which I think was also a pretty big movie. So he was like the only one who really came out of this movie, I
Did more.
think, that kind of had a
Yeah.
career. Wasn't a long career,
It's a career.
but he was definitely he at least he branched out and did other things. So
You know what I love too, actually, is the Spanish version of the name of the movies, El Cielo del Hacha.
oh yeah, yeah. There was also multiple posters, which the one I think I have on screen right here, I think is a Spanish poster, and then the one on Shutter, I think is the American release.
I love
And
the
they're both really good. Um, but as I'm going through Shutter, I don't know. Like I kind of want to do classics that we know, but I also want to do things we've never seen
yeah.
before. So maybe next week we'll do one that we both have
We do like
seen,
a throwback or something.
and yeah, maybe we should oh, man, I don't know if we should do it this early in the year of Halloween,
Hey,
or should we keep that for
there's enough
later?
of them we can do.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So maybe we'll do my all-time favorite, and actually the very first horror movie I think I've ever seen, um, Halloween. So we'll probably do it. That's on Shutter, and I think it's on pretty much everything. You can get it anywhere. It's such an easy movie to
Yeah.
find. So maybe we'll do some reviews on that next Saturday, because this will be a Saturday podcast. And for anybody who wants to know, yes, we are streaming this on Twitch. So for anybody who's listening to it on Spotify or Apple or any other place that you guys tune in, if you want to see this live and come join the conversation in the chat, because we would like to open up, like after this time, after we're done, um, kind of reviewing and talking about all the plot points and everything of whatever movie we're talking about. We want to open up to the chat, and if you guys have any questions or anything that you guys have that we didn't notice in the movies. So our Twitch, which I'll be linking it and everything, is twitch.tv/the Baron Hideout _ podcast. Um, so that'll be every Saturday streamed live at 9 p.m. Eastern
Nice.
Time. And then I will be trying to get this uploaded for Sunday or directly after we're done with the podcast. I'll be trying to get it processed and sent out to all the other places so people can listen to it. I don't know if it'll be video formatted in those areas, but it will at least be all audio. So for our first podcast, I think this went pretty well.
I think so. But
um, I just gotta work on my notes a little bit more. I want to try to go in depth with really going on who the cast
mhm.
is and all that stuff. So I think
Yeah,
the more reviews we do, the more comfortable we get with things. We'll kind of understand a better
Yeah,
format.
like I've had the
So
like Google page for the movie pulled up the whole time just in case, so I can fact.
yeah, I did that too. Yep. But this is awesome, man. And Aaron's like my best friend, so I've been trying to do stuff with him for a long time, and I figured, hell, let's do a goddamn podcast.
Why not
We'll go and just say fuck it.
talk about things we love and
Talk, even if we're just talking nonsense, who cares, It's fun to kind of just
chill?
sit here. I mean, we're doing all this on Zoom. We're doing it COVID safe. We don't want to get anybody sick, and we both have actually been tested positive for COVID, so we kind of already have it in our system. But regardless, we're going to be getting our shots anyway as soon as those come live to us. So I encourage everybody else, please get your damn shots. Get your shots, wear your masks,
Want
and
concerts
just
back?
be safe. Yeah, concerts, man. We're both metalheads, which we will definitely be reviewing some music. And speaking of music, Rob Zombie released his
Oh
new
yeah,
album, and that was awesome. And oh crap, I wish I had the vinyl here, but I have the vinyl. I got the box set and a vinyl, and I'm giving some of it to Aaron over here, and some other stuff coming in. And I actually have a Rob Zombie mask right here, which he actually gave me, and it rocks. Um, yeah, the new album, it's weird. It's what they were saying, it was supposed to be a heavier Rob Zombie, which it definitely
yeah.
is. It's got like a really weird cult vibe to it, and a lot of like intermissions.
Noticed that.
So like after every song, they're playing like a weird little like in commercial, I guess is the best way to
Yeah,
say it. And the music videos are pretty good too.
I mean, the music videos, they're never disappointing though. And the title
Mm-hmm.
tracks too. I love them.
I know, right? And we've seen Rob Zombie what, three, three times
Two
right now?
times.
It's like
Yeah.
three times.
I think
Um,
all with Manson too.
yep, all with Manson, Twins of Evil. So if anybody listening, if you guys have been to any of the Twins of Evil concerts, let us know. And I would love to know your experiences and see if you guys thought that Marilyn Manson was awful every single time, just like we thought he was. Um, Especially just walking off stage and not really caring about anything. There was that one time we saw them when he literally dropped the mic and just walked off at the end of a set. He didn't even say anything. He's like, "I'm just done. Bye,
Lyrics.
guys." But yeah, this podcast, I just want it to be very open. So I don't want anybody to take us too serious unless we start going on serious topics, which I don't think we really will be. We're just gonna be reviewing
Chilling
movies
out,
and
talking horror.
yeah. I'm a huge horror fan. Aaron is a horror fan, but he's not to the extent
I'm
I
not.
am. So I do apologize if it seems like I'm talking more than he is. It's because I'm also trying to educate him
I'm
just a
learning
little
just like
bit.
you guys.
Yeah. So this is fun, and I hope you guys are learning some stuff out there too. And if there's anything that we missed from this movie and you guys want to let us know, please don't be afraid to comment or reach out to us. All the social medias and everything will be linked to whatever source you guys are going to be listening to on this. I'll find a way to get that all there so you guys can
Hell,
follow
even
us.
write your reviews and
And
send them in.
yeah, that'd be awesome. So if you guys have any requests too of any movies that we should review uh, at some point, go right ahead. I'll start writing a list down. I think that about covers everything,
I
right?
think
Is
so.
there anything that we missed? Is there anything that you want to touch on before start closing out here?
Think we hit just about anything. So if anyone has that may be watching has any questions,
Yeah, let me see. I wasn't really expecting a lot
yeah,
today,
it's a
but
good
that's completely
try
fine.
run. For the first time.
Yeah. Um,
I think the two viewers are us.
yeah, probably just to get something on here. Um,
Yeah, not.
but I think closing, I think we're pretty good with what we're going to be doing from here on
Yeah,
out. We'll probably be messing with formulas as we go, but right now we're gonna stick to just this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we'll see you guys probably next Saturday. I will be letting everybody know on all the socials of what movie we'll be watching next Saturday, which, as you guys can hear now and here, is Halloween.
Oh,
Not Halloween 2018, not Halloween Rob Zombie, Halloween
the
1978.
classic.
So I also want to let you guys know I'm a huge Michael Myers fan, so
Couldn't.
be prepared for some Michael Myers trivia. And for stuff that you guys don't know, I'm going to be working on that probably tonight because I have tomorrow and the next day off from my actual job. So I'm going to be going and refining all of my Myers facts, I guess you can
Quick,
say.
Michael Myers fun fact.
And Michael Myers fun fact. Oh man, I don't know if I want to do that right now because the one I want to say right now, this definitely talks about the first
Okay, we'll
movie,
wait.
but but I will say that he's over 6 feet
He's a big
tall.
dude.
It's very very big. I'm 6'1", and I think it's about 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
So
I still some of them.
all right. I think closing out here, we'll see you guys next week, and hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week. Don't do anything stupid. Number one thing I want you guys to do is go watch some horror movies. Go support short films. Go support any indie films. Anything that's not released in theaters. I want you guys to go support that. It doesn't even have to be like English based movies. You know, we watch, obviously we're English, and who knows, maybe you guys are from a different country. So go support English no movies or whatever it is. Wherever you guys are, go support something different. And support the small dudes, you know? It's not all
Especially
about what you see on the
nowadays.
big screen. Yeah, especially with theaters not really being open right now. You guys kind of have to go and support whatever is coming out, even if it's on HBO Max or if it's on Shutter. Go get some Shutter. And another um cool streaming service if you like the B style of movies is Full Moon Features. They are also really cool. And maybe we'll pull some movies from there at some point. But that about wraps it up, guys. And thank you guys so much for listening and so much for lending you our soul for about an hour. A little bit after an hour, your soul will be returned back to you. I promise.
I
Thank
can't.
you guys so much for for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next time. And once again, this is the Baron's Hideout podcast, and I will see you guys later. This is Dustin signing off,
And this is Aaron. Peace out.
and we'll see you guys later.